Hello, I'm Jason from StrataGames, and today we're playing Pactdoll Gardens. Golgari Gardens is a deck that's been around for a long time. It fell out of favor for a while, and then it kind of re-emerged a couple months ago with Pactdoll Terror being a new key card in it. Whenever an artifact enters, including this guy, you ping your opponent for 1 and you gain a life. It's also a 3/4, which means it dodges a lot of removal, namely Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning and things like that. But also the fact that it starts gaining life the moment it enters is really powerful against Mono Red or Madness Burn, which are some of the most prevalent decks at the moment. And of course the deck is just chock full of other artifacts so that you can trigger it as many times as possible. We have Refurbished Familiars, 4 Grim Baubles as some nice removal, Blood Fountain, Candy Trail, of course we have some Vaults of Whispers, a full 8 Ichor Wellsprings and Lembas. We also have a full 8 Reckoner's Bargain and Fanatical Offering. The offering is, of course, also giving you artifacts. And we have some more life gain in the deck, Spinning Darkness as removal. Kami of Jealous Thirst. We have so much card draw in this deck, it should not be hard to make this cost 0 mana to activate, which drains your opponent for 2, and you gain 2. That's also a 1/3 with Death Touch, which can be pretty relevant in combat. A Crypt Rats as just a nice board wipe, a couple Drown in Sorrows as cheaper board wipes since you don't have to pump extra mana into them. Curse Marauder as an Edict could be exceptionally good against Bogles or even just a Writhing Chrysalis deck because it can get around the Eldrazi spawn. And our mana base, other than the vaults I mentioned, we have 1 of Witch's Cottage, we have 4 Gardens, we have a Bajuka Bog, and we also have a Haunted Fengraf. This is a very strange one to me, but it is a land that just rebuys a creature from your graveyard. We're only playing 2 terrors in the deck, and they are pretty important, so having a way to get them back is pretty nice. Of course, the Witch's Cottage also does that, but the Fengraf returns to your hand, but it is a creature at random. So you have to know that it's your only creature in there or you're happy getting a familiar, but pretty much any of our creatures are going to do something pretty beneficial. So it's not a big deal if we kind of just get whatever. Sideboard, we have 4 Duress, another Curse Marauder, another Crypt Rats, 2 Suffocating Fumes, 3 Thorn of the Black Rose, and 4 Relics of Progenitus. Really hating on the graveyard decks, the combo or control decks, and then Thorn is really good against any of those combo decks that are a little bit slower. Obviously, you don't really care about this in like a High Tide or anything that's trying to win on turn 4 or 5, but against a control combo deck that's going to go late game, Thorn can be really, really powerful. So this deck seemed pretty sweet, so let's see what we can do. Upstate New York Pauper is holding a charity tournament on June 21st to help support Trans Lifeline and the Trevor Project. This is looking to be a great tournament with a bunch of prizes and, of course, for a great cause. And if you're like me, pretty far away from New York, there's a place where you can donate so that you can stay involved. There's a link in the description for more details, and let's try to make the world just a little bit better. All right, round 1 looks okay. I mean, we can't play our familiars, which is pretty awkward. Which means we can bargain away our garden plant and Drown in Sorrow if they go fast. Looks like we're against the old Black Sack, which I don't mind, to be honest. We might be okay. I think we have a decent matchup here because we have cast downs and things like that. But they could go faster than us. Shambling Ghast. They could just kill the plant here, and they do. So we're going to be forced to probably just play this Lembas here. And they have a Link Breaker. But they don't go all in, which is probably for the best. We got the Wellspring, so I guess we'll just play that instead. So that if we wanted to bargain it next turn, we could. But we'll probably end up just playing like a 3-mana Familiar, depending on what they do. Just so we have a blocker. They're going to attack for 3 here, play a Sage, and a Vampire. So no cards in hand. I don't feel the need to Familiar to take anything from their hand, but I might just need it as a blocker. I could Drown in Sorrow, which means, I mean, they can obviously save these 2, but they'll lose pretty much all their guys. I guess they could sack just one of these to here and here, then let this one die, and they'd have 1. And they'd only have 4, maybe 5 damage. So I think the Drown in Sorrow looks pretty decent here, to be honest. They could also just go all in on the feeder, throw 5 counters on it, which would be fine here, because then we can just start chumping it with the Familiar, as long as we don't die to a Rites of Consumption. But we have Reckoner's Bargain to maybe gain some life, and they do, it looks like, go mostly all in. They let the Infestation Sage die. Grim Bauble, I think we'll keep that mostly because it just makes our Familiars cheaper, but it can also pick off like an insect or something if we want. Kind of interesting that they let the Infestation Sage die, I guess in case they get a Village Rites or something, they wanted to have it, which is fair. But now I can play Grim Bauble and then double Familiar. Seems decent. Of course, they're going to sack it. That's fine. Because now we're going to have take their card. It was a swamp, no big deal. But also we just have blockers. And we're not quite dead to a Rites. and then we can get a bargain down. So I think we'll be okay here. Mortician Beetle's not bad. We do need to find a removal spell for the feeder because we can't chump forever, but we definitely have a couple turns here. Juka Bog might matter if they have unearths. Let's just start with a Lembas. See if we can find a cast down or something. Another familiar. I think that's pretty good. So let's Bajuka Bog. And I guess we're just going to leave up the familiar here rather than playing the second one because it's just more mana efficient to sack it to the bargain. I know it grows the beetle, but that's something we're going to have to deal with. I could trade with the beetle, but I don't think so. They also got another feeder, which is not too bad, although if we kill the one, they still have the other one, of course. So we're going to gain 4, but take 2 here. There's a cast down, though, and a bauble. Okay, so I can bauble, probably take out this feeder. They sack it to this one. You can cast this one down, they'll sack it, and they'll have just 1 4/4. Let's start with a refurb, get a card draw. Maybe we should have candy trailed first, but that's okay. Kami of Jealous Thirst looks pretty good here. Witch's Cottage seems solid too. So let's keep those both. Grim Bauble, the feeder. I could also go for the beetle. It's pretty much the same. They just sack this to this one. And this way it doesn't give them an option of sacking it to the feeder, I guess, is my thought process. Now I should just cast down the feeder, I think. Just in case they get like a Village Rites. I'd rather they have to use it on the beetle or just have it be useless. So now they just have 1 4/4 beetle. And we have a Death Toucher on top. We have a way to rebuy our familiar on top as well. So I think I will block just so that if we go to 7, there's always a chance they could right consumption us. I think this is safe and I'm not too upset about it. So, oh, this is pretty good. We get to Witch's Cottage, put back a familiar. Then we can Fanatical Offering this Wellspring. We're going to draw the familiar and the Kami, and we can play them both, and we can activate the Kami. And we got a cast down. Let's take their card, let's play Kami, and activate. And now I don't think we're even going to trade because we have the cast down, and this guy is going to be better for just activating multiple times. So we'll just take 4 here. Let's play a Wellspring. There's a Terror. Let's crack our Candy Trail to draw a card, play a Swamp. That means we can activate Kami. Attack for 3 here, and in their upkeep, I guess, we'll just cast down their beetle. I think that's going to seal the deal probably here. All right, so Marauders are bad. Pretty good that we drew 3 of those. Of course, if we Drown in Sorrow like we did and then can wipe their guy, it's not bad. But in general, they're a deck built to use Marauder, so I don't really like it. Crypt Rats is good. Relics of Duress don't do quite enough. Suffocating Fumes doesn't do a lot either, but sometimes it's good. And the cycling's not bad. So if we need to cut something, it's fine. Obviously, Spinning Darkness doesn't do enough because it's non-black. Otherwise, things look decent. So yeah, I think we'll bring in the Suffocating Fumes and a Duress. It's not bad for Rite of Consumption and things like that. I could bring in a Thorn, but they usually can go pretty wide. So that seems bad to me. I'm loving seeing more Black Sack out in the wilds, though. It's definitely quite a challenge to play against it and not root for them. This hand is not great. We are on the draw, and we have a ton of card draw, and we have 1 piece of interaction for 1 mana. But unfortunately, we just might not get a second land. This one looks a lot better, and I think we might just get rid of the Bauble. It's our main artifact, but we can use the bargain on the garden. Death Touch seems pretty good. Cast downs seem really good. I think we're going to get rid of it. Start with the beetle. Well, I want to get the garden down, so even if I had kept the Grim Bauble, I probably wouldn't play it here, although obviously picking off a beetle is pretty nice. There's a Shambler. We're going to just take the 1. They could Village Rites and make it 2. They do. Well, Corrupted Conviction, same difference. We're just going to hold up bargain this turn, block, and then following that we can maybe start doing some cast downs, or maybe just another bargain. Seems solid. Block here and draw 2. Of course, this does grow the beetle, but since we're planning to kill it anyway, it's not a big deal. A couple more lands is fine. They cycle in Unearth. I like that. They need a sack outlet, clearly, which means I might just take this opportunity to cast down the beetle, and then I can Bajuka Bog away the couple creatures they got. I think that seems decent to me. I don't want to just like spend my time drawing cards and then have a single turn where I'd like to cast 2 cast downs and just not have them. They could have had a supernatural stamina there. I guess I didn't consider. But the beetle comes back as a 1/1, so it's not that big of a deal anyway. They're swinging for 1 with their squirrel. They got a swamp, and that's it. 5 cards in hand. So if I had to guess their hand, I would say 1 or 2 more swamps, Rite of Consumption, and I don't know, like what other side, like even if they brought in Duresses, they would use those. Clearly not a sack effect, like a draw 2. Clearly not a creature. Maybe a Sadistic Glee, if they're playing that version. We got a Pactdoll Terror, so I could just slam that. Maybe they're playing removal. They could have an Accursed Marauder here. Okay. Which means I don't want to just lead out on a creature. I want to wait until I have a bargain up. So in that case, let me just play a Wellspring. Because, yeah, I bet they have 1 or 2 Marauders in hand here. We'll play a Garden. Or maybe even like a Tragic Slip or something. But probably some removal is my guess. Cycle another Unearth. There's another Beetle. Swing with the Squirrel. Vault. So I can play a Kami now. And if they go for the Marauder, I can just sack it to the bargain. Which, you know, isn't amazing, but it's still not too bad. But it doesn't even look like they have the Marauder. They have no attacks either. Well, I will bargain at the end step this Wellspring. And if that goes off without Kami dying, I can activate it. So I drew 3 cards. Some decent draws, Grim Bauble and a Familiar. Drown in Sorrow. Alright, well I guess we're gonna play a Pactdoll Terror. Ping them for 1. Grim Bauble. Try to pick off the Beetle. That works. And then refurb them. Well, that all worked, so I'm feeling pretty good now. They discard a Swamp. Guess I'll swing. I guess they could have a Supernatural Stamina, but they still just trade a Squirrel and a Stamina for the Kami. I'm kind of fine with that. I didn't draw 3 cards, did I? No. They do have the Tragic Slip. That's fine. Surprised they didn't use it earlier before I ping them for 2. There's a Feeder. Another Swamp. Yeah, they're just very flooded. I'm probably going to use this Drown in Sorrow at some point, maybe here, because it looks like they can't get their feeder bigger, so I'll just jump at the plant. Another Drown in Sorrow. Alright, let's swing for 3, and try to wipe the board. We lose a refurb, but as long as we keep their creatures under control, we're going to win the game anyway. They have a Rotten Reunion. Okay, so they can keep their feeder alive this way. Fair enough. We'll just have to cast it down afterwards. Get rid of a Swamp, and get rid of that feeder. Another Rotten Reunion. Play our Garden and pass. They're going to swing for 2. Really only makes sense for them to do this if they have a Village Rites or a Conviction right away. So I'm expecting that. Indeed. Shambling Ghast and a Shambler. And a Swamp out of cards. Yep, super flooded. We're just going to sack this Bauble, look for something. Grim Bauble and a Wellspring. Those are both fine. We'll keep them both on top. So we will play a Wellspring, and I could Drown in Sorrow, but then they can shrink the Kami, and that seems bad. So let me just Grim Bauble and pick off the Ghast. I'm not worried about the Shambler, because even if they do a trick with it, I can Drown in Sorrow it. But if I can get rid of the Ghast now, then the Drown in Sorrow will make it so the Ghast can't kill my Kami later on. And I guess I'm winning the race, so let's just swing. They got a Gixian Infiltrator. Swing for 1. Sack this Grim Bauble in the upkeep, Reckoner's Bargain, and a Refurb. So let's refurb them. I forgot that costs 2, but that's okay. We'll draw a card. It'll be the bargain. I guess we'll just sack the Wellspring right now. Play a Garden, activate Kami, attack with them. They're down to 7. If they don't get a way to sack this turn, I can Suffocating Fumes wipe their board. The Shambler won't even draw. The Shambler wouldn't even make a guy because it would have 0 power, but luckily for them, they found a Village Rites. Into a Sage and a Swamp. Play our Fengraf, currently with no targets. Let's attack with our Kami and our Familiar. They try to trade the Kami with this Infiltrator. I get to wipe their whole board, and they do. So -1/-1, then the Kami will eat the Infiltrator. I do get an Insect token, but I can also now just activate Kami here, activate it on my next turn, and then attack for lethal. They do have an Unearth. That gets back a Carrion Feeder, but that's not even a blocker, so not going to make a big difference. All right, I'm sorry to see you go, Black Sack, but this is definitely a favored match for us. On the play here, hand looks solid, some good interaction and card draw, and a finisher. We are on the play, which means we're not going to get the Grim Bauble to do anything here. And since this vault isn't a swamp, I think we're just gonna take this opportunity to get down our tap land. Mountain into a percussionist. So it looks like mono red. I'm gonna leave up cast down, I guess. It's pretty mana inefficient if we don't end up casting anything down, but if I just it allows me to Grim Bauble next turn as well as play one of these. And if they double Tomb Raider here, then I'm going to cast one of them down. And then we can Grim Bauble the other. Of course, cast down's pretty good in this match if they're Pinger Burn for the pingers, but we obviously got to deal with what's in front of us right now. And currently that is Tomb Raiders. This Kami can be pretty good once it starts gaining us life after we're drawing a bunch of cards. For now, it's just going to be in our hand, but if we get up to 5 mana, we can play it and bargain in the same turn. Another Tomb Raider. Luckily, we had some answers, so we're not just like instantly dead to the triple Tomb Raider start. I guess I have a Spinning Darkness in my deck, don't I? So I should probably do this before damage, just in case we didn't get there, but that's okay. There's an Epic here. There's a Swamp. So we're going to play Refurb. Now I can hold up Bargain or Cast Down. I can try to trade it with the Tomb Raider, and if they try to kill it, I can bargain it away for 4 life, which is pretty good. They discard a Synth. They are just going to swing with everything, so I'll block, and could still just gain 4 life. I'm not draining them with the Kami, but that's only 2 life that I'm gaining, so I'd rather gain 4. And I'm not killing the Tomb Raider, but I guess I can just kill it later with the Cast Down, or if we're lucky enough to draw it into a Drown in Sorrow. We just got another card draw, so I can still do the Kami, which is nice. Marauder does not look great here, but there is a Flame Breather. If we got Drowned in Sorrow, we could wipe the whole board. So I could Cast Down here, or I could Kami and Fanatical, but then we could just take 1,000,000 from this Flame Breather. So I think we're gonna Fanatical now. Pactdoll's pretty good, so we're gonna just cast down the Flame Breather. So next turn I can play Terror and hold up Bargain for if they try to kill it. Chain Lightning, unless they just have Bolt and Fire Blast here, that'd be pretty bad. Blood Fountain's not bad. Let's play the Terror, and I think we'll wait till next turn for the Blood Fountain, because I do want to hold up this Bargain. They Bolt on the end step. So if they have double Bolt, I'm going to die here, but if they don't, we might be okay. So if they just go for 1 Bolt, I can Reckoner's Bargain in response. Valdarin Epicure's fine. That doesn't kill me. And they have the Galvanic, so let's bargain away the Pactdoll to gain 4. We also have a Spinning Darkness, that's not bad. I'm not going to use that until I can get back my Terror, probably, which I could do right now. So Blood Fountain, get back my 2 guys. Refurb draws us a card. Bajuka Bog them, and Spinning Darkness and Epicure. So I'm not dead to a Bolt. We'll trade with the Epicure here. So if they have a Fire Blast or another Galvanic, I am still dead. Chain Lightning doesn't quite do it. Still pretty good, though. Marauder, but I don't really want to play a Marauder because that just gives them a card. So let's get rid of 1 with the blood. We get another Pactdoll. Well, that we can't quite play, but I guess we'll just play a Kami, Jealous Thirst. I can't activate it because I only drew 2 cards. I was hoping to find another card draw spell for, what, I guess 0 mana? They blood away a mountain. If they have a Galvanic Blast, now that they don't have Metalcraft, I could die here by not blocking, but I think it's more likely that they have a Bolt, or rather that they have a Bolt on top, because we've only seen 2 or 3. And, oh, the Lava Dart also deals 2 damage, doesn't it? Yeah, I guess we gotta block then, and hope we don't die. Lava Dart on top, that doesn't kill us by itself, though. Not anymore. And if we're not dead, we can play a Pactdoll, which gains us 2, and we can activate Kami, which gains us 2. They're just passing to us. We get a Swamp. Let's play a Pactdoll. They're gonna, I guess, blood away their Furnace, look for a Fire Blast. And they didn't find it. All right. So we got there. We get Suffocating Fumes. It feels like I know they're Pinger Burn, but it feels like they're go wide enough that if we do Suffocating Fumes and Marauder, that we can like wipe their guys. Maybe Marauder's overkill. I don't mind a couple. Because if we wipe the board and then Marauder for the last guy, it's cool. But otherwise, Marauder's pretty bad. I don't mind a couple Duress here. We are playing 4 Lembas, 4 Bargain, 2 Terror, 2 Darkness, 2 Terror, a Darkness, Candy Trail. So we got a lot of stuff. Yeah, I guess we can just take the Marauders out totally because they're just worse than cast downs. And maybe just one duress. Everything else seems pretty solid here. Well, maybe we can go down like an offering because we don't need to spin our wheels too much. But it gains us life with Pactdoll and with Kami. No, I guess we'll keep them. It's a little slow, but we have some good removal and jump blockers, so I think we'll keep. Epicure. Candy Trail's pretty good. I think we just kill the Epicure. It's possible we should... I think I should have started with the Garden, because if they go with, like, Tomb Raider here, then I could get rid of it. But they go with the Flame Breather, which is fine, because I can cast it down. But now I have to start playing tap lands. I guess I can go Garden, Fountain, Refurb this turn, which is not bad. And they go with the Ren's Resolve into another one. So their next turns are looking slow, which I like. So let's Blood Fountain into Refurb, into a Garden, and we'll pass. They bolt us on the end steps. We're at 16. There's the Resolve into a Tomb Raider and a Percussionist. We'll trade with the Tomb Raider if they play that. We'll just take one from the Percussionist, I think, if that's the one they go for. Or I guess these plants, we have enough other stuff to sacrifice that maybe I'll just throw a plant in front of it. There's a Swamp. Let's just start with a Candy Trail. Cast Down and a Wellspring. Cast Down's not terrible, just in case they get another Flame Breather. Wellspring's not bad either, but we do want to find creatures for this Blood Fountain. I don't think I want to keep both of these. Wellspring's pretty decent if we get a card draw spell, but we already have a lot of stuff to sack, so I guess... And the Cast Down doesn't look necessary, but I'm going to be annoyed if they get a Flame Breather down and I don't have it. So I think we'll keep it, play a Garden, and just pass. They play the Tomb Raider. Now we'll go for the trade, and I'll just take the 1 this turn. And there's a Thermo Alchemist. So I'm going to crack the Candy Trail, getting that cast down we know about. Using it right away. Glad that we saved it. I don't think I'm going to Grimbauble this Percussionist. I think we're just going to leave up this other Grimbauble to sack, probably, to smooth out our draws. Epicure. Let me block this time, just in case we get a Drown in Sorrow or something. Save the extra damage. Sack the Bauble. Kami and a Wellspring. Those go pretty well together, because I can draw the Wellspring, play it, discard our Bauble with the Blood Fountain, and then I can Kami and activate it. I have to get rid of the Bauble instead of the land, but then I have a Blood Fountain to get back 2 guys from our graveyard. I think we're going to keep those. They seem solid. Wellspring, play the Swamp. We're going to do all this to draw 3 before we play the Kami so that they can't bolt it in response to our 3rd draw. Another Wellspring isn't terrible either if the Kami sticks around, or if we just buy it back with the Blood Fountain. Drain for 2, and we're going to pass to them. I'm expecting this to eat a bolt, but it's possible they also just have like a Cast in the Fire here. No, there's the bolt indeed. Blood away a Great Furnace. There's a Tomb Raider. Vault of Whispers. So I can pick up our guys and 2 mana play the Refurb, which eats a card and maybe trades with a Tomb Raider. I think that's probably the best use of our mana. If I just play the Kami here, it doesn't gain us any life and probably just dies. But the Refurb takes a card, so maybe they don't have another bolt to use on their familiar. It trades with a Tomb Raider, it's not too bad. And the next turn, maybe we can go with Kami and we find like a Reckoner's Bargain or something to draw our 3rd card. They do discard a Chain Lightning. There's a Smash to Smithereens. Okay, that's a little annoying. So we're down to 8. They only have 1 card in hand. Suffocating Fumes isn't bad. So I guess I'll play Kami. If we play Kami, we might not be able to get anything out of it, any life. But if we play it and then trigger the Suffocating Fumes after we block the Tomb Raider, then we kind of wipe their whole board. This already wipes these 2, though. I guess we'll start with the Wellspring. See what we draw here. It's a land. I mean, that lets us play this and the Suffocating Fumes. So if they kill this without it triggering or activating at all, that's a little annoying, but I guess I could technically cycle the Fumes and trigger it right now, but I don't think we want to do that. I think killing 2 of these guys is pretty worth it. So we'll just have to let that go. I guess I should... No, I could Fumes right now so that the Percussionist, the card is only until the end of this turn, which could matter if they draw a 2-drop and this gets a 2-drop. But then I'm just taking 1 extra damage from the Tomb Raider, and that seems unnecessary. They do get a Resolve into a Flame Breather. Not bad, but nothing in their hand. Of course, the Percussionist is going to get them a card here. We do need to draw something good, but if we open again, a Fanatical Offering or a Reckoner's Bargain, we're super in it again. Percussionist just turns up a land. Refurb's not bad. That's just a free creature with a redraw. Into a land is not really where we need to be. They blood away a land and just have that Furnace from Exile. And they have a Galvanic Blast. That's annoying. We're down to 3 after their attack here. So we got to get something pretty good. And a land doesn't do it. We had 8 card draw spells because we hadn't found a single one. 2 Pactdoll Terrors, Spinning Darkness. We had a million good draws. And there's one of them right there. Into a Refurb, which was a redraw. Into a Cottage, not amazing, but a blocker plus gain 2 isn't too bad. I guess we'll just go again. I could bring in Crypt Rats. I don't love that it pings us, is the problem. And it's just slow. We already have 1 Crypt Rats in the main deck. I think that's probably fine. We got some removal and some life gain, so we'll keep this one. Everything is 2 mana, which is pretty awkward, but otherwise the hand looks pretty good. Great Furnace, but no creature. We get a familiar. The Vault of Whispers is kind of risky. I mean, obviously we're playing it. It's kind of risky because they could just smash to smithereens. For that reason, I think we need to Lembas and look for another land. I could also just hold up the Fanatical Offering / cast down. But if they don't play a creature that I care to cast down, it's just kind of a waste. They do play the Flame Breather, and we get to keep our land, and we get a Colony Garden. So I do get to cast down and play our garden. Things are looking pretty good now. Got a lot of card draw, a lot of life gain. They have an Epicure, and just pass. We get a Kami. So I think we just play a Familiar and hold up removal / card draw. They pitch a Synth. We're going to pass. They're going to smash to smithereens the Refurb, so we're going to gain 4 off of it instead of taking 3. Duress is not bad. I like Duress in this matchup because they have Smash, they have Fire Blast, Galvanic, a lot of high damage, high impact cards that, especially with like Fire Blast, that they're going to save until later. So I like those a lot. Plant might get sacrificed to the Offering, so we'll just take a damage here. They're going to smash to smithereens the Vault of Whispers while I'm tapped out, understandably. Definitely what I wanted to take with the Duress, but I'm glad that they didn't do it on turn 2 or whatever. Mountain. They're almost out of cards, so definitely fire off this Duress while we can. Double Galvanic. Yep, we'll just take one of those, obviously. Play a Garden and hold up our cards. We're in a pretty good spot, 19 life, and they just have a couple creatures in a Galvanic. We will block and draw 2. Want to make sure to hit our land drops and things. A lot of board wipes. No Drown in Sorrow, which would be preferable because it actually wipes these cleaner than the rest. But I think for now, I'm just going to play a Wellspring. Still trying to draw to that land. I'm not going to cast down the Tomb Raider because I'd rather save the cast down for a Pinger. But I got a Familiar, so I don't mind playing that. They'll probably Galv Blast it in response, but then we just get to draw a card. They say they misclicked, didn't cast the Galvanic Blast, and they give us the GG. All right, we're on the draw here, and this hand looks decent if we get a Swamp, which we can maybe do with the Lembas. We're on the draw, so we have till turn 3, so that's 3 draws plus the Lembas. Awkwardly played on turn 3. But that scries us, that lets us see 5 cards. And we have 15 black sources in the deck, which is more than 1 in 4. I mean, I guess what's the upside if we do get there? We have a good card draw, and we have removal that's really behind the curve. So I think it's actually a mulligan. I don't want to, but, well, this one is obviously bad. And this one is acceptable, I guess. So getting a little punished here. I guess we get rid of the Drown in Sorrow, just because it's not good in some matchups. We want to keep the cards that are more general. Sometimes you want to keep the cards that are more high rolling, so maybe we keep the Drown in Sorrow in case we're against somewhere where that's the case, but we are not, so looks like it's better that we kept the cast down. Tron, I'm going to guess Alter Tron, but could easily be Flicker / Fog Tron. I should have led with the Vault of Whispers, because if I draw another Vault, I could play the Familiar. My instinct is always to leave the Vault of Whispers till later in case your opponent has Artifact Destruction, but in game 1 that's not usually going to be the case. But we get a Fanatical, so it doesn't really matter. We're not doing a lot here. They get a Refractor, a Power Plant, so that's Tron next turn. We can't afford to sack our land. Colony Garden, I suppose, is something. So I'll play that and pass. They're going to sack the expedition map, get the tower. They crack for black mana, which means like a Pactdoll Terror right away. Okay, yep. And then a Candy Trail. I guess I'll just cast this down, try to preserve our life total, make it a little harder for them. I know they can get it back with a Mer Retriever, but they have to find that first. There's another refurb, which makes me kind of wish that I had just gone for the offering, because then I could play 2 of these, but let me sack this plant after it deals 0 damage. And I played the swamp. I should have saved. Yeah, that was silly. If I just waited till second main, I could play the Vault of Whispers, then I could play both refurbs, take 2 of their 3 cards. I did not. They have an Insight from hand. They also pitched 1. Have another Pactdoll Terror and a Wellspring. We got a Lembas. Let's do that. We don't need a land. Still don't need a land. Play a refurb. Attack for 2. And we'll pass. Flashback Eviscerator's Insight. Wellspring. Candy Trail. They certainly are pinging us for a lot. Fanatical Offering. I guess we are looking for just another cast down or a Marauder, kill the Terror, and then also like a Bojuka Bog to get rid of their graveyard. I think we're just taking 3 here, because I'd rather keep our familiars alive for a clock, which doesn't really matter until we kill their guy, but Grim Bauble, I mean, another one would do it. No. Let's Wellspring, draw a swamp. Let's map, draw a swamp. Okay. I guess we have to pass and leave these up now. Just severely flooded. They play a Prism, reveal another Pactdoll Terror with their map, lucky them. Play a Star. I don't know why they wouldn't just like crack the Candy Trail before they play the Star so they can get the Pactdoll down for extra triggers, but now we're taking 2. Map, Blood Fountain is going to be 4. We'll crack a Lembas. There's a Mere Retriever. Play literally anything else. They crack a Candy Trail. Well, guess we're not technically dead, but pretty much. We'll chump here. And we draw another swamp. Amazing. We do get 4 Duress, 4 Relic. Also Thorn of the Black Rose, which all feels pretty good. But I guess we're losing 4 Grim Bauble, 2 Drown in Sorrow, Spinning Darkness. Marauders seem solid. I mean, they're bad against Retriever, but I feel like there's a lot of times where they might just end up with a one of Pactdoll Terror. Maybe we cut like one of them. Kami doesn't do enough here. I guess we are actually kind of the beatdown in this match. So I guess going a little faster, like cutting a bargain and a Marauder. I don't know. I mean, this hand has a little bit of disruption with the Duress and the Relic, but otherwise it's pretty dang terrible. I think we got to get rid of that. This one's pretty bad too, but it does have a Thorn. So I guess we will get rid of a Vault, just in case they have like Ancient Grudge or I don't know what kind of artifact Tron usually plays. Whatever it is. Tower in the map. We get a Bog. Let's just play a Swamp and pass. They got a Pylons. Leave it on top. Let's crack our plant token. Duress and a refurb. Let's duress them. Alright, Fanatical, Nile Spellbomb, Insight, double Candy Trail. They're cracking the Expedition map for a land here. No Tron yet is nice. I'm going to play this Bojuka Bog because I want to just play Slam a Thorn next turn. So for that reason, I might just take the Insight because it takes away the most card draw. I think that's what we'll do. It takes away both halves of it. And then this turn, they're going to like play a Candy Trail and crack it, or play a Candy Trail and another and a Spellbomb. There's the trail. They scribe both to the bottom and play the other one. Just looking for that power plant, I would assume. They scribe both to the top this time and play the Spellbomb. Marauder's not bad for if they just get down a Terror, but we're going to obviously play our Thorn. With some removal, we should comfortably start taking the lead with the Monarch. Relic's not bad either. They do a Wellspring. That's what they scribe to the top. Scrying 2 to the top, I assumed that they were going to do lands only, but I guess if they couldn't find them, they settled for a Wellspring, which goes well with the Fanatical. We get a Fanatical of our own, and I guess we're just going to put down a Pactdoll Terror, try to go as aggressive as possible here. Draw a Colony Garden, spend 3 mana to make a black, and make 3 mana to cast the Fanatical Offering, draw 3, probably find a land. They do, but it's just a swamp. Play another Candy Trail. We know they have a Pactdoll Terror in hand. This turn, though, I get to play a Relic, Refurb, and then also hold up Fanatical or Cast Down. Not to mention attack for 4, plus the 2 we're pinging them for. So we're doing a lot of stuff this turn. They scry 2 to the top again. Swamp. Let's attack for 4. Play a Relic. Refurb them. Discard a Mire. We'll play a Garden. And we'll pass. Draw another Relic. They got a Wellspring. Sack it right away. With an Insight. So I can maybe pop the Relic if I want, since I have another one. They find their Power Plant. Feels like it's too little too late, but then again, they do have 9 life to gain right on the field here. So they could definitely stick around. Mirror Retriever. Let's draw 2 from our plant. We also ping off of that. Pactdoll Terror. So if I attack with the team, I hit for 3. They're at 8. Play a Pactdoll. They're at 6. Relic. They're at 4. Not quite lethal, but I think we just attack. And if they block, try to get something back with the Retriever, we'll sack the Relic, and then we can play another one. And then if I play the Pactdoll, I'm not leaving up any mana to do anything with, which I don't love in the case that they get, like, I don't really know, their own Pactdoll and gain 1,000,000 life off of it somehow. I kind of want to have a Cast Down up, so I think I'm just not going to play it this time. I don't think it's necessary. I think we can leave up Reckoner's Bargain and the Cast Down. They got a Refractor. They have an Ancient Grudge for the Relic. Okay, I guess we'll just draw 2 cards with it with the Reckoner's Bargain, or I could just draw 1 with cracking it itself. I guess we might as well not waste the card. Let's just draw 1. Even if their last 4 cards are Pactdoll, Altar, and 2 Retrievers, we have a Cast Down for the Pactdoll. Although I guess if they had a Golem Foundry, it might be hard, but they just flash back on the Terror. They've got 5 mana left, so I can't imagine a way that we lose here, so I'm just going to gain the 4 life and draw 2 here. They do have a Pactdoll. That's it. Past us. I'm just going to swing. If they want to trade, I'm fine with that, but if not, I will probably play the Marauder and sack the Thorn, because this deals more damage. Then I'll play a Relic and exile their Pactdoll. They can crack like a Spell Bomb if they want to really save it, but they don't care to. Play a Haunted Fengraph. Again, I could play a Terror, but I think we can just survive without it. And would like to have the Cast Down and the Relic up. You got a Wellspring. Another Terror. They got an Expedition map. Let's just pick off their Terror. Crack a Candy Trail. They're back up to 9. Crack another one. They're up to 12. They're going to pass. We got a Fanatical. Let's attack for 4. Play our Pactdoll. Drain them. I meant to play the Lembas, but I missed it. But I guess that lets me hold up the Offering and the Relic. They crack another Candy Trail. There's an Ashnod's Altar. There's a Mirror Retriever. They're going to sack, try to get the Pactdoll back, and we will crack the Relic. I think getting rid of a Retriever and a Pactdoll is worthy. Again, if they have 2 Retrievers and a Pactdoll or a Foundry, then I'm probably dead, but that's how it goes. They have a Chromatic Star. Crack their map. For Nurse's Tower. Crack the Star. For a Prism. And an Offering. And an Insight. Drawing a lot of cards, that's for sure. There's a Star. And they're passing. Let's go for an Offering on our map. This will trigger the Pactdoll Terror. We'll attack for 7, and probably should have dressed first. Let's dress, and then I'll just cast some artifacts if they don't have anything up. That's going to gain them life or anything, and they concede right there. Alright, let's run that again. Alright, we have lands. We have Thorn again. We have no removal or anything, but we have a Lembas, and again, just some lands, so I don't know. I think we keep it. It's a little sketchy. Wellspring. We're just going to play a Fountain just in case we get a Refurb early so we can play it. They have a Prism here. We get a Garden. Want to go late with my Vaults just for their Ancient Grudges. Let's just go for a Lembas. Try to find something. I don't really think we need another Lembas. I'd prefer a Bargain, a Duress, a Cast Down, anything like that. They have another Prism, and they have a Tower, so, and a Spell Bomb. Okay. Duress is not bad. This turn, to be honest, I kind of wanted to just play Garden and then play one of these, but I can Duress and still Vault in one of these and then still Thorn next turn, and I want to get a Duress before the Monarch just in case, just so I know what's going on. Double Fangren Marauder. Blood Fountain, and Ichor Wellspring. Okay. Well, Blood Fountain's kind of the scariest, but Wellspring just draws them more, and right now they really need more lands. I guess Blood Fountain gets rid of a Marauder, it also draws them, but I think we're just going to take the Wellspring here. In general, not too scared of what they have going on, unless they just like top deck a Mine, in which case we kind of cannot play the Thorn. But let's play a Wellspring, pass, and ideally we can slam it next turn. They drew a Wellspring. Not the worst card for them to have, but obviously annoying because we just took it from them. And then there's the Blood Fountain. And they Bojuka Bog us. Not a big deal. Another Duress, but we know they just have 2 Fangren Marauders, so we're going for it. We're playing this Thorn. It's got Death Touch, so even if they do top deck or find the Mine this time, we have a turn of it, plus we have a Colony Garden. Ideally, we could find some removal. They crack the Chromatic Star. Play another Wellspring. There's a Retriever. I mean, theoretically, that can take the Monarch if they have removal for both our Garden and our Thorn. I don't really want to duress just on one card, because if they just drew... Well, obviously they didn't draw land. But if they got like another creature, Pactdoll Terror or something, it just might not be super relevant. So I think I'm just going to play a Garden and leave up 2 Bargains, because that can sack the Thorn if they have a removal spell for it, and just sack the Wellspring otherwise. I guess, yeah, if they remove both of these, it's pretty bad, because they can take the Monarch, and I can't get the Thorn back with the Blood Fountain because they have the Spell Bomb, but that's just the risk we take. They crack a Blood, get rid of one of the Marauders, so they're down to just 1 in hand. They do find a Conduit Pylons, but that's still fine. Still 1 land off of getting a Marauder down. And they're just going to pass. Let's bargain away the Wellspring. Another Thorn is fine, I guess, as a panic button. Let's just bargain away this. I don't even want to do the Blood Token because that's a card. So I'll do the Lembas. Like, with all these lands, Blood Token is more useful. Relic's not bad. Although I guess they have the Blood Fountain right now, but they'd have to crack it. So that's reasonable. So let's start with the Duress in case they have an Ancient Grudge to get rid of a Relic, I guess. I don't know. Let's just start with the Duress. They have a Last Rites, Mirror Retriever, and a Marauder. Okay. Now let's play a Relic. Hit them with that. Now we play a Refurb, take another one of their cards. They get rid of the Retriever. So they are, again, down to just a Marauder. And let me play a Candy Trail. I don't think we need another Relic, but we will definitely take a Fanatical. And let's just pass. They got a Refractor. I still haven't found removal for the Marauder if they actually do get it down, but right now all they can really do is gain a bunch of life off of it, which obviously could be scary if it's a lot of life, but it's fine. They have to panic, sack the Spell Bomb, which is nice. Doesn't really do anything. Obviously we have a Relic and are pretty primed to just use it whenever, but it's fine too. We're going to Fanatical Offering this plant now. Now we have cast downs for the Marauder. Vault of Whispers. Let's just play a Wellspring. Play a Swamp. Let's map onto this Refurb. Put a Refurb into the graveyard. Nah, we'll leave it. And I guess we'll crack the Candy Trail so we can draw the Refurb and play it right away. Make him discard a card, and now we have a pretty sizable clock in the air. They finally get rid of the second Marauder, so we don't know what's in their hand. And we will pass. Draw off the Monarch. Pitch a Vault of Whispers. They got an Eviscerator's Insight. Pretty good draw from them, or maybe what they kept. Although they had 2 mana up, but I guess they wanted to hold up the flashback here. I don't know. They got a Mine finally, so they have the mana. They're going to crack the Blood Fountain. They have a Mirror Retriever on board. I'm trying to think if there's any way I could die here. They only have 6 mana left, so they'd need like Altar, Golem Foundry, and another Retriever. I think that's unlikely. We're going to go for it. If they kill us, then good for them. I think they might just flashback this Eviscerator's Insight in response, so they don't lose that, is my guess, but we'll see. Feels weird that they're spending mana on the Blood Fountain here at all, knowing that we just have the Relic, but I don't know. Okay, they are just going for the Eviscerator's Insight on the Retriever, which can buy back, like, the Blood Fountain. Okay. I don't mind them buying back the Blood Fountain, seeing as we have another Relic in hand, but I get what they're doing it there for now. And we get a Bojuka Bog. They're going to play the Blood Fountain and pass. Cursed Marauder. Well, now we just have 6 damage at them. Another Relic, although if they have an Ancient Grudge, they get rid of the Relic, but I think we just have to deal with that. We are going to get rid of a vault here with this blood fountain. We have another relic, which I guess we don't want to lead with both because they can Ancient Grudge them both away. So, I don't know, I guess we just got to deal with that. Let's just get down our tap land and hold up all of our cast downs. We'll get rid of a vault. There's a Pactdoll. There's a Wellspring. Let's get rid of the Pactdoll. And then let's right away try to relic it. See if they're forced to, like, Fanatical. Nope, it's just gone. That's fine, too. They draw from the Wellspring. There's another one. Let's kill it as well. They got a Refractor. And they're just passing us. So let's try to take away that Pactdoll. Cycle a Polluted Mire in response. Nice. Let's attack for 6. And I think we're just gonna... we're gonna start with a Fanatical Offering on the Wellspring. Try to draw into more, like, cast downs or something. Just a lot of card draw. I mean, that's fine, too. I could play another Relic and get rid of this Pactdoll. Oh, they can Blood Fountain in response, so I can't really get rid of it. And then that does leave us open to the Ancient Grudge. I could just pop the Relic now, and then I play another one. I guess I might as well play this one, try to take it. If they have to Blood Fountain because of this, or Blood Token away, then I can pop one and get rid of the Terror, and then I still have a Relic up. I can't do anything about this first Ancient Grudge, and I don't want to walk into getting hit by 2 of them, but I do use the Blood Token on a Candy Trail. Now I'll just sack one, play a Swamp, and pass. Discard a Thorn. They got a Prism, Conduit Pylons. Keep it on top. They got a map, Ashnod's Altar, and is that it? Looks like it. We're going to Fanatical Offering this. Blood Fountain doesn't really seem to be doing me any good. And more map tokens means I can potentially actually deal lethal, since they don't have any Candy Trails on board. Pactdoll Terror helps with that as well. So let's just go to our turn, I think. Garden, let's try to buff up this guy. Limbus on top, we'll leave that. Buff up this guy. Leave it as well. Try to attack for 8. See if they got any tricks. Alright, and we get there against Ultratron. Alright, we're on the mulligan in round 4. This hand's not very good because it's no artifacts. We literally can't cast either of these, and then we have 1 cast down. Our opponent's on a mold of 5, though, which means a couple of things. It means either they're just also experiencing really bad luck, or they're a deck that mulligans low. That's often combo decks, so if they're walls, cast down could be really helpful, but if they're high tide, this hand is terrible. If they're bogles, this hand is terrible. If they're elves, this hand is okay. I think if they were on 7, I would mulligan, but since they're on 5, I think I'm going to keep. Okay, well, totally different. It's mono red, and they just had the bad luck. Candy Trail's a phenomenal draw because it sets up our deck and it gains us life, and it's an artifact, but man, this hand is bad against these. Okay, I'm going to keep the Vault of Whispers because that actually lets me play Refurb next turn, but I don't love keeping the land in general, but I think it's a necessary evil here. And since they're on 5 cards, Refurb's pretty nice. Like, if they play 1 or 2 cards here, they're almost already Hellbent. Ren's Resolve, okay, into Bushwhacker Galvanic is interesting. I guess I just Refurb. I feel like the chances they have 2 lands are very low in hand. The chances that they have 1 land and another spell and they keep the land just so they can go Bushwhacker Galvanic are really low. They do discard a land. So if all they do is Bushwhacker here, I can just trade with the Tomb Raider and then they lose the Galvanic. Or they just Galvanic this. Yeah, and then they can just play a 1/1 Bushwhacker. Oh, they have a Tomb Raider? They're not even caring about the Bushwhacker. Okay. Alright, all we have here is a cast down. So we're taking 2 from another Tomb Raider. As long as they can't get rid of this Pactdoll Terror, I think we're going to be in an okay spot. And the only way they could really get rid of it is an online Galvanic Blast or a Fire Blast, neither of which look likely right now. So I'm going to take this down to 8. Get a Fanatical. They also can deal with this if I block a Tomb Raider or a guy and they have a Bolt. I'm at 9. I could just not block. Okay, Ren's Resolve is nice, and 2 lands is nice. So the chances of them having a Bolt are low? Okay, Epicure. Perfect. That was really good. Because they can attack if they want to throw away this for 2 damage. But I also just have 2 life gain here, plus 3 from the Candy Trail. Seems unlikely. Oh, they do go for it. Okay. Swamp is fine. Let's just play a Wellspring. Gain a life. Colony Garden's not bad. Play that as a blocker. Now I can just leave up Candy Trail and Offering, and we can begin the comeback. Percussionist. They are going to swing. I think we will block, and I'm going to use the Offering on the plant. Obviously, I draw one more card from the Wellspring, but I'm just hoping that keeping it around lets us have an extra card draw later, and this way we save a life. Marauder gives him a card here, but I also just have Lembas and a Grimbauble. Lembas with Candy Trail is 7 more life here, which is pretty good. Refurb is pretty nice. So actually we get to just play Familiar, draw a card, gain a life. Now we get to play a Bauble, kill a guy, gain a life. And now I just have life gain from our stuff, and I think we're in a pretty good spot now. They have a Bushwhacker, that's fine. I'll block here, sack the Lembas. We're down to 8. We get our Fanatical, so now we can sack that Wellspring from before, gain a life. We have a Grimbauble, gain a life, pick off the Soldier, play a Garden, map up our Pactdoll Terror, attack for 3, pass with a Candy Trail and a Cast Down up. Alright, they've had enough. Pretty nice for us. So in general, we already, like we saw before, we brought these in against Pinger Burn, but they're going to be especially good here because they are Go Wide Burn. For that reason, we're going to bring in the second Crypt Rats as well, but no Duresses because they just play a couple more creatures with the Bushwhackers and stuff. The Marauders feel pretty bad here. The Cast Downs do feel bad here as well. I could take a Duress then because they often, like the Rally, and they still play Bolts and things, but between Burning Tree Emissary, Bushwhacker, and all the usual creatures, it just doesn't feel that worth it. So I think we're just going to run it like this. And yeah, Cast Downs are going to be a little overpriced, but I think that's fine. All right, 1 land is not going to cut it. We do have a lot of nice Lembuses, but we just can't keep that one. We got to keep this. And the bad thing is if we don't draw a land, well, no, we get to just play a turn 2 Familiar into 2 more Familiars if they don't die. We got to get rid of the Terror is the bad part here, because I think we need the card draw and we need the creatures, but if they don't have Smash to Smithereens or Cast into the Fires, I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot here pretty quickly. Grimbauble's not bad. It just helps us play 2 Familiars next turn, so I'm going to use it on the Percussionist. This also increases our chances of them not casting into the fire this turn, because if they flip up a card that's anything other than one of those, they're likely to use it. It's a Lightning Bolt, in which case they're probably not going to cast into the fire or Smash to Smithereens us this turn. That's pretty good. So Bolt is totally fine. And they do cast that. And then nothing. Okay, well, we have a Vault, Familiar, and a Familiar. So going to strip their hand pretty well. I guess if they have like land and the Festivities to wipe these, and then also a Cast into the Fire for our Vault, we're in a bad spot. But even if they have a Cast into the Fire now, I feel like they're going to use it on the Familiars, which leaves our lands intact probably. They discard 2 mountains, and then they have a Bolt for us. So only down to 2, now 3 cards. And we're at 13 life, so not feeling too bad. Rally is a little annoying because I can't really block profitably, but I can't really let them both go. So I think maybe we'll trade with one of them. Maybe I should just take both, but this way I can just like block and sack to gain 4. It's a little awkward. I would love to sack, gain life. I would love to get a land this turn, but I think as long as we keep our life total high, we're going to be in a good spot. So let's just go for the block, gain 4 life, and draw 2 then. They have another Rally. So Crypt Rat's also going to be good once we can finally get it online, which is going to be a couple turns. Sack the Familiar. We'll take 2. We get another Familiar. I guess the second one draws us a card, and they block in the meantime, so let's just play those. They discard another mountain, discard nothing. We don't draw a land, but more life gain and card draw. So I think, again, we're going to block 1 and go for the Reckoner's Bargain approach on the second one. We do get our Swamp, though, which is nice. That lets us play Blood Fountain, which can get back, as soon as we get our 4th land, can get back 2 of our 4 Familiars. They're going to swing again. We're once again getting 4 life off of our Familiar. Suffocating Fumes isn't bad either as a cheaper Crypt Rats option for next turn. They got the Tomb Raider, so we're just going to bog and leave up that Fumes, I think. They even play an Epicure pre-combat, which is pretty nice. That might be a mistake, or maybe they have a Bushwhacker, which would make it not a mistake, but luckily the Suffocating Fumes is going to help from that. They don't, though. They just have a blood token to discard the mountain. And they have a Percussionist. That one obviously has haste, so it makes sense to do it here. But this Fumes is going to be real good. They just get in with a 1/1 Tomb Raider, and they get their card off their Percussionist, which is a Bushwhacker for next turn. And I guess I could just cast down both their guys, but let's go with a Fanatical Offering on this Bauble. We get another Crypt Rats. Let's just go with a Witch's Cottage, cast down the Tomb Raider, and then next turn we can get down like a Crypt Rats and just leave it up as a contingency. There's the Bushwhacker. Go down to 11. Another Swamp here. Let's play the Crypt Rats. We'll even try to map token onto it, I think. If we can grow it, perfect. Reckoner's Bargain, we're going to leave that on top. Now we have a blocker, but we can also deal 1 damage to everything without killing our own Crypt Rats. They got no attacks. And now we have Blood Fountain for 2 Familiars. But then if we try to play the Familiars, we can't also hold up Bargain, so I think we'll just do the Blood Fountain on the end step here. Play the Familiars next turn. And I think we'll also Blood Token away this Crypt Rats, because I don't think we need another one. Let's play a Familiar, make him pitch a card, make him pitch another card. They've just been top decking Mountains, so they're in a pretty rough spot in general. And Candy Trail into, we don't need the Cast Down, but the Spinning Darkness is obviously pretty good. Now I think we'll just go on the offensive, and I will pass to them. They're going to attack, I'm happy to block, and gain 4 life. And we'll crack the Candy Trail, go up to 18, meet them there. And they finally have had enough. All right, round 5, we are against J-Waves, who exclusively plays White Weenie. So this hand doesn't look amazing against White Weenie. We have no removal at all. We do have card draw to get to removal. We have a Familiar to block something. They're on the play. We're going to keep, I mean, I'd love to have a Drown in Sorrow in our open air, but sometimes you just don't. They don't have a single 1-drop, which is a pretty good start for us. But they do have an Informant. Discarding a Strands, which is not bad either. We have all these guys, so we're going to start with a Wellspring, so we can sack it later. Grim Bauble's pretty nice. Annoying, we're going to have to take 3 damage off this guy, though. I have a Bugler. Turns up an Inspector. Another Bauble. So I can Bauble away the Informant, and then I think I just Fanatical Offering. If I could play the Familiar and it would trade with this, I would do that. Same with the Grim Bauble, but since they don't, I think I'd rather just use my mana more efficiently and get a Fanatical Offering to try to find our Drown in Sorrow and our Cast Downs. They get a Grange for the Bugler, so it's even bigger now. And have another one. Okay. 3 Toughness definitely shining here. Another Inspector. Sack our Wellspring to draw 3. Kami's pretty good. And Vault of Whispers. I think I just play the Kami because it blocks this guy. They have to use like a Prismatic or like a the +2/+2 for it to like do anything profitably. We'll play a Familiar. We have so much card draw here. They discard a Battle Screech. Play the Kami. Card draw is going to be really good with the Kami, though. There's an Inspector. Thraben Flavor. Attack with just the 3/4. No, they are going to go with the 2/3, which means that they're willing to burn the Prismatic Strands for 3 damage, or they have a +2/+2, and they're willing to burn Prismatic, because I'm still fine with that trade. They do both of them, it's kind of annoying, but I think I'm okay with it. No, they just let that guy die, which is also cool with me. There's an Inspector Novice Flavor. Flashback the Battle Screech. Okay, definitely want to Drown in Sorrow. Candy Trail can help us find it. Yeah, I think we start with that. Crypt Rats doesn't do it because of this Prismatic Strands. Although Bojuka Bog helps. Okay. So I can leave Crypt Rats on top. And then the Bojuka Bog first. Fanatical Offering, a map. Then I can Bojuka Bog. I can also trigger the Kami. Yeah, this looks pretty good then, actually. Those were 2 pretty good cards to see together. Sack this Grim Bauble, actually. Bojuka Bog them. Kami. They did leave up 3 mana as though they have another Prismatic Strands, so it's possible that we're walking into a trap. I think I'm going to map up this Kami so that it can stand up to this bigger Bugler, potentially. They have the Thraben Charm. Okay, they were just saving it. Fair enough. We're kind of dead to a... Why can't I remember? I play this deck all the time. Glorious Anthem. No, that's just the +1/+1 enchantment. So we're dead to +2/+2 unless I block here. So I guess we block here. Pretty bad if they don't have it, because I just kind of throw this guy away, but Battle Screech into Battle Screech. I mean, I can Crypt Rats for 2 while they're tapped out. That's pretty good. And then I can Grim Bobble away the Bugler. Okay, because of that land. That's pretty nice. Wipe these guys away, Grim Bobble this guy down, and now we're in a fantastic spot. They have 2 cards and a clue. Start with cracking the clue is a good sign. Raffine's Informant, not bad. Pitch a Veteran and bring it back. You know, that's not too bad for them. Garden is decent, it blocks. Let's just start with a Wellspring. Drown in Sorrow, nice. I think I might just use that now. I guess it's worse if they play anything. I don't need to do it now. I can just play the Garden and Lembas, because I can block this. Grimbauble is probably reasonable. So I can block this. I just take 1 off of this guy, maybe 3 if they have an Anthem, and then anything they play next turn I can Drown in Sorrow, plus Grimbauble to like pick off. So let's wait 1 turn, be patient. Block, draw 2, cast down's fine. We have some nice removal. Okay. They're understandably not overextending. So let's just Drown in Sorrow now. Fanatical is fine. Let's just crack the Candy Trail for the life gain, but also I want to keep as many artifact triggers in hand as possible. So rather than playing the Wellspring for when I get a Pactdoll. I am using this now though because I would like to draw a land. And since I drew the Familiar, I'm going to play that obviously. But that wasn't too bad. They have another Veteran coming back from the grave. We can bobble that one away though. And they have a Skyfisher. They go for the Idyllic Grange and another Skyfisher. Pick this guy up or just a land? Okay, they do go for that guy. And a Grange. We luckily just have cast downs. They have a Veteran and 1 unknown in hand. So let's start with a Wellspring. 4th cast down. Let's cast down this Skyfisher. Cast down this Skyfisher. Map up this Familiar. Refurb on top. Let's leave that. Let's just increase our clock a bunch, I think. We'll just make this a 5 power guy. An attack. That makes it so that they have to get a creature and a Thraben Charm to kill it. And it's a pretty fast clock. And I'm not worried about taking lethal on this turn on the crackback. All right. Nice. Definitely had some nicely timed board wipes there, although obviously we would have liked the Drown in Sorrow a little earlier. But we get to bring in the Fumes and the Crypt Rats here. We don't need the Marauders. They seem very rough. Spinning Darkness and Cast Downs are fine. I'm probably going to keep them in, but Duress is decent for Guardian's Pledge and Prismatic Strands, also Thraben Charm. Also, they'll probably bring in Dust to Dust, which means on the draw, I definitely want some of these, I think. Blood Fountain probably doesn't seem very good. They're going to have 4 Thraben Charms plus Dust to Dusts. I don't know if it's that bad. We did draw a lot of cards, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I almost wanted to draw slightly fewer. So I think a couple Duresses is good. Maybe we'll go with 4. 4 seems like overkill. 3 doesn't, though. We really get hosed by a Dust to Dust. So let's do a few of them. It seems solid to me for sure. All right, this hand is slow, but it is a turn 3 Drown in Sorrow. So I think we keep it. We also have the Crypt Rats. I mean, they're going to play around the Drown in Sorrow if they can, with like a turn 2 Skyfisher, but Grimbauble's a pretty nice start. I know that this guy dies to a Drown in Sorrow already, but if they Skyfisher and pick it up, it's not great if they do a bunch of things. Plus, it's just an artifact for our Familiar or a Bargain. And so it seems pretty good. We also draw a Vault of Whispers. So I think we just go with the Familiar. It's possible we've walked a little bit into a trap here because I could have just left up the Bargain. But now if they do have a Dust to Dust, they can take out the Vault and the Familiar. They don't, though. They discard a Bugler, and they have another Bugler, so we're okay. They have Palace Sentinels, though. Interesting. That obviously makes it so I don't really want to block here, because then they just slam Palace Sentinels, and I'm in a bad spot. But I can't really not block. I guess I have the Bargain up. I don't think I can afford to block because of Palace Sentinels. That's really annoying. Well, that's good to know about. But now, like, what am I supposed to do? Because if I don't block with this, I'm also just not getting anywhere. I think we're going to Fanatical Offering this Bauble, because if I find another Familiar, that helps things out, and if I don't, then it does not. I have a lot of card draw, so I just need to survive. Okay, I guess we're blocking. Just a weird spot. If they slam the Palace Sentinels, we can maybe just keep up with the Monarch with all of our other card draw, and we certainly can't afford to take 5 every turn, so maybe they don't have a land for it either, which would be nice. They crack a clue, so it looks like no. They find it. That gives us a turn of respite. Inspector and pass. And there's another familiar, so that's not too bad. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to play a familiar. Oh, it costs 2. That's awkward. So I can play a Wellspring and then the familiar. That's probably best. And then I won't block this time. Oops, I played it in the wrong order. Oh well. In that case, we're just going to play the familiar. They discard another bugler. And I'm just going to Fanatical Offering the map, I think. We're not going to block here. I don't know. I keep flip-flopping back and forth, but I can take 3 a couple of turns. I can't take 5 a bunch of turns, you know? Skyfisher, pick up the Inspector, play that, and they can crack a clue. We know they're 1 card, so we just need to keep hitting land drops for this Crypt Rats. That's what we need to do. Play a Wellspring. Suffocating Fumes mixed with a Drown in Sorrow will wipe their board. Let's play a Colony Garden. Wipes our board too, though. I don't know. I'm going to continue flip-flopping probably, but I think this is the turn that will block and Reckoner's Bargain the familiar. And then, yes, they're going to slam the Sentinel, but I can get down to Crypt Rats, wipe the board potentially. I can't kill the Sentinel with it, not until next turn. And they have an Inspector. Okay, swamp. So I could just Drown and Suffocating Fumes. It does the same as the Crypt Rats. It does 3, so probably worse. But the Crypt Rats is our creature. I don't think that matters. I think we just wipe the board. Next turn we dig for creatures, and then ideally we'll kill this at some point. So I think that's what we're on. We're obviously not waiting till their turn, because they could have a Prismatic Strands. They crack a clue, crack another clue, and an Inspector. Play a Plains, swing for 2, and they draw a card. We have another Lembas. Let's start with a Lembas. I mean, Lembuses keep us alive, but it's kind of just spinning our wheels. And yet, I don't really feel like I want to get rid of one of them. Let's play another. Blood Fountain seems pretty solid, except for against Thraben Charms, which could definitely be happening right now. So maybe I should have just saved it for next turn so that they wouldn't have it open, potentially. This deck has a lot of card draw, and when we're faced with a deck that can refill the board even after we've wiped it, it is a little challenging to find other things other than just more card draw. There's an Inspector and a Skyfisher. Lagrange, growing the Inspector. Monarch, let's bargain away the Wellspring. They didn't play their Inspector, so they probably have a Thraben Charm. And look, more card draw. There's a Bauble. So I can use all of this and wipe their board. That's a 3 for 3. Not to mention they have a clue. Seems pretty bad. Let me just start with a Lembas. There's a Duress. That'll at least kick off the Thraben Charm thing. They don't have it. They just have a Guardian's Pledge. So I can take that, 2 Inspectors and 2 Plains. We can beat that hand. Okay. So now I can Blood Fountain back, double refurb. I can only play one of them. But that means they have to leave back a Skyfisher or a blocker potentially. There's an Inspector. Probably going to crack the clue right away. Play a Plains, play an Inspector, swing for 4. We will take 4. Another Grim Bauble. Okay. So, how much mana do I have? I have 8. Okay. Is this insane? I can Suffocating Fumes, then I can Grim Bauble the Skyfisher. Attack, take the Monarch, then I can Drown in Sorrow, and then I can Grim Bauble the Palace Sentinel. So I can wipe everything for these 4 cards. And I can take the Monarch. That seems solid enough to me. Let's play a Grim Bauble, shrink the Skyfisher. I mean, this is very bad into Thraben Charm or anything like that, but that's what we're going for. Try to take the Monarch here. Finally found the Thraben Charm. So I can still just wipe the board. I haven't played a land, so if I draw off the bargain, I could still maybe Drown in Sorrow. We're not taking the Monarch, so that's fine. We'll let that go. We'll Drown in Sorrow. Wipe all the Inspectors. Crypt Rats, I think we might need. We have the life gain to get up high enough, potentially. And then I can Grim Bauble this, but then I don't have the refurb for next turn attacking, which I think might be fine. If I just survive, I might be okay. Because I have the Crypt Rats on top. Yeah, let's just Grim Bauble this guy. They crack a clue. Well, our brilliant plan did wipe their entire board, but it did not, in fact, yield us the Monarchy. They have a Rafine's Informant, pitch a Plains, play a Plains, and go to the Monarch. I'm going to play a Refurb. They discard another Plains. Let me play a Wellspring. Spinning Darkness can shoot this. So maybe I don't even need a Crypt Rats right here. So let's just Fanatical Offering this Wellspring. There's a Cast Down as well. And a Duress. Let's do a Duress, just see what they're working with. Maybe I should have waited till next turn since that's kind of going to be the money turn. They have a Guardian's Pledge though. That's fine. I assume that's their only one. Or they have another, but that would be silly to use both. Now they're going to Thraben Charm this guy. I'm going to Spinning Darkness the Rafine's Informant in response. So it survives. Duress, they have a Plains. And now we're in a very, very good spot. They have one top deck. If it's a creature, I can just kill it. And if it's not a creature, we can take the Monarch. All right. Got a trophy with the first time that I was playing Pactdoll Terror. So I'm pretty happy with that. Overall, the deck was pretty fun. It feels a lot like playing Gardens, which is the deck that I actually started playing Pauper with, was Golgari Gardens. I put it away for a very long time because I found that it's not the most enjoyable deck to play against, and it's enjoyable enough to play, but I like generally to play a deck that my opponent will also enjoy playing against. Not always true, but especially in paper, that's my preference. This deck obviously has a lot of qualities of it. It has a lot of removal still and a lot of card draw, but I think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with the Kami, with the Pactdoll Terrors, Accursed Marauders. There's a lot of interesting stuff. Certainly still a removal and card draw pile, but apparently pretty decent in the meta. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons, including my $10 patron Howard Granger, for helping me make these videos every week. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.